2, 1. Good evening, Canby. Welcome to the Canby City Council regular meeting for March 4th, 2015. If you will please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Translate, please.
Absolutely. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings we enjoy living here in Canby. I pray for guidance over this body of leaders. Give us the courage and wisdom to lead this community in a way that is pleasing to you. I also ask for protection and favor on our community. Place healing hands on those who are ill, those who can't be with us, and provide encouragement and peace to those who are hurting. I also thank you for our military, both here and abroad. And please, Lord, shield them if they're serving in harm's way. Bring them home soon and safe. These things we ask in your Son's most precious name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is communications. Anything from this side?
I'll just make another quick reminder about the public meetings that we have for the Library Civic Building Project. The first couple meetings are next week, March 10th and 11th, both from 7 to 9, March 10th at the police facility, March 11th at Hope Village.
Excellent. Thank you. Our first opportunity this evening for citizen input and community announcements. We have these fun little yellow cards, if you would so like to fill them out and bring them up. And this evening we have one. Mr. Serlet, would you like to step forward, sir? Thank you.
Good evening, all. John Serlet, 710 North Juniper Street, Canby. And I'm here on behalf of the turkeys as their spokesman tonight. They wanted me to pass their thanks to you all for your support, for getting their sign, for making their life a little more safe in our fair city. Seriously, though, I'm here to thank you very much. I know that I met with the traffic safety people following the meeting that I addressed you, and they were very receptive. And Jamie, I talked to her at our meeting on Monday, and she was instrumental in getting the sign put up there at 5th and Ivy too. So I just want to pass my thanks and gratitude to all involved in the process. So
Thank you. Thanks, John.
Thank you for your involvement.
I won't belabor the situation anymore. This is my last. Thank you.
Thank you. And usually we don't acknowledge too many people in the audience, but it looks like we have a scout joining us tonight. Welcome. Would you like to come up and tell us your name and what badge you're working on? How are you?
Good.
Good.
My name's Henry Carbaugh. I'm with Troop 505 out of the Methodist Church, and I'm working on communications for my Eagle.
Excellent. How much longer do you have to go on your Eagle?
I have some paperwork for the project and then 3 more merit badges.
And have you identified your project yet?
I've already got done.
You've got, well, fantastic. And what was the project?
I installed pathways and a memorial garden out at 91. For a
Excellent.
friend who passed.
Great job.
Great job. Thank you very much for doing that and for being here tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. We just like to take a moment and put our scouts on the spot and have them come up. Figure they're working on their communication badge, so we should communicate a little bit. Yeah. Moving into mayor's business, some fun things it has been a busy last couple of weeks. Attended the Board of County Commissioners meeting on the 19th. A couple of key pieces were talked about: a standing room, overflow room, long meeting, but it was a good meeting. Interesting to see. I think that was actually my first Board of County Commissioners meetings that I had attended, so it was an interesting forum to see and watching the commissioners interact in the way that they did. We'll leave it at that. Joe, a couple of pieces, I suppose, for you and for maybe bring back to us at a later date. Do we have a smoking ordinance in the city?
I am unaware of an actual smoking ordinance. I think we followed the 10-foot rule that is established under state law for
Okay.
entrances for
Okay.
buildings.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
I don't think we have a specific smoking ban ourselves.
I wasn't necessarily looking for a ban.
Okay.
I just, let me be clear.
You want to take up smoking? Is that what you're
No. Suppose I could do that in the comforts of my own home or back patio or whatever my wife would let happen. The reason I ask is there's just been some conversation with the attractiveness of First Avenue, but yet we drive down it or you're walking down it in the evenings, and in some of our establishments, the smoking doesn't take place inside because it can't. Therefore, they're doing it out front, and sometimes it's often there on the walkways. And I know, or I thought we had conversation concerning the Legion Hall. I know they got a spot in the back for that.
They have a lounge in the back, outside.
And I know, again, as we're coming up on, we have nice weather now in the summer. I don't know if that's something that we should be revisiting and taking a look at in terms of as a policy, or how do we further enforce that 10-foot rule? I know that's harder to do when there isn't exactly code enforcement or whatnot. And I know that's usually on the establishment's responsibility to do that. So I didn't know if we had anything on the books or if that was something that.
I don't believe we do. The thing is, I can always look at other ordinances from other towns and bring some of them to you, maybe in a workshop setting, where you could say, hey, maybe that would be something we'd be interested in or not. So,
Well, and it may be something too as simple as, and maybe something to take back to Rick and add it to his to-do list. I don't know if that's something of just a conversation with those businesses by
That's-
Main Street or something to say.
Yeah, I would.
We're getting some comments and complaints.
Yeah. It would be hard to create an ordinance around that. I mean, how would you enforce it? Carrie's not going to be driving up and down the street by the bar at 11 o'clock at night to see if
Sure.
anybody's smoking outside the door. So I would caution trying to create a new ordinance that we can't enforce.
I would agree.
well, and
There's more.
there may be unintended consequences when you create an ordinance and then you invite police to stop people because now they have probable cause for violating it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but that would be also vetted during the workshop, so.
Yeah. I'm not against a conversation. That was my gut reaction to that comment. But
Like I said, I'm not trying to ban smoking. Just trying to make it a little bit more pleasant for those that are walking downtown to be able to enjoy, First Avenue or Second Avenue or Third, whichever, and not.
Well, this has been an unintended consequence of the Clean Indoor Air Act for a number of communities.
Yeah.
That you have people now hanging out on the streets. And sometimes, and I've had one business owner that I tried to recruit down to First Avenue. And she said no, she just didn't like the way it looked with people hanging out on the street smoking. That was her judgment. So, I'm not sure what we can do outside of go ahead and build those pavilions on First Avenue that we were talking about and turning them into smoking tents, but it's worth it continuing the discussion because we spent $3 million making that street look nice, and if some people think that that is a deterrent to the attractiveness, then I appreciate what the Legion has done. They provided us a place off the front First Avenue. I don't think Rounders or Mike's Place has that ability to do that.
And I don't know if that's
space for it either.
well, and I don't know if that can be, if there's a back area, through the back door, if there's that kind of, I don't know. I can't remember. I do remember a conversation like this, at least since I've been on the council. I don't know. It might be going back through the record logs, I suppose, but it'd just be an interesting piece of conversation again, just because it's popped up a couple of times. So, Joe and Amanda, some concerns or complaints if there are issues about trees and shrubs in terms of traffic, sightlines and vision. Is that a case by case? How does that get elevated? Is that a complaint to code enforcement? Okay. So code enforcement, and then it gets elevated from there.
Yeah,
Okay.
if any citizen has, thinks that the view is obstructed in some way that causes a traffic safety issue due to shrubbery or foliage or whatever, they're encouraged actually to complain to our code enforcement officer.
Perfect. We have a backflow requirements in our city. Is that
Enforced through Canby Utility.
So that
yes.
is enforced
It's
through
not-
Canby
It's
Utility.
not the city, it's Canby Utility fulfilling state requirements.
state requirements? Okay. You know, these fun topics that get brought to me, and
Is that new, by the way?
Pardon?
Is that new, the backflow?
It is not,
It's
it is
not.
not a new requirement. We're just getting caught up.
Okay.
so Canby Utility enforces that piece of
They
that
do.
for us.
They
Okay.
do, as our municipal water supplier.
Okay. I think the big complaint is, one, doing it. Two, I think we're seeing costs varying across the board in terms of getting that work done. Do you know if Canby Utility has a like an approved vendor list or a preferred vendor list that
They do have
citizens can
some
resource?
suggested vendors that have made
Suggested.
themselves known.
Okay.
And I would encourage any citizens that have concerns about backflow to please call customer service at Canby Utility. They work with folks all the time on this. You'll find it a very pleasant experience to talk with them, and they'll help you through it.
Great. Thank you, sir. I knew you would know the answer to that one. And Amanda, I don't know if it's possible for the next city council meeting, can we get an update on the light project that ODOT is working on now for the last, I don't know, it seems like a year and a half?
Sure, yeah.
Because I would love to know when we can anticipate that being completed and our lovely Canby downtown signs illuminated again, and, you know, restoring, you know, peace and order along 99. It seems to have been dragged on for a long time, so, okay.
I second that. I think it's like they work one day and then they take 4 days off.
Yeah, it's been-
Oh, they stay working. I knew that would be
All right, you two. Don't make me regret putting the two of you by each other.
Don't separate.
My kids went to school here, public school.
The, okay.
Oh, it's getting ugly now.
Wow.
gonna
Do I need to
answer that.
gavel you two down?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Back on February 21st was the Iwo Jima Remembrance Ceremony at the Adult Center. A great event. There was over 100 people there that attended, and we had 7 or 8 World War II vets present for the event. So it was a great event, and they were there and recognized, and it was pretty special. So if you ever, so next year, definitely mark on your calendars and try to come out for that. The Canby Area Chamber of Commerce held their gala last weekend before last, and the city was awarded another beautification award for enhancements that we made downtown. And so Rick and I were there to accept that award on our behalf. So it was a great evening, lots of fun, and the chamber did another great job. City staff, Councilors Hensley and Coleman and I had a meeting with some county staff members to discuss Arndt Road and the connection and improvement to I-5. And it was kind of an education piece for us and kind of give us a little background. So right now we have, there is in the the county's transportation plan, a connector to come down off Arndt Road in the land that's designated the rural reserve piece. But because that project was approved prior to the rural reserve piece, it's in there. So it can be a project that can be done, and the county can, in essence, pull the trigger to start that project. There's a big challenge with that one, and that led to, again, talking about taking the connection over the river and then connecting into Third, and then also brought back the conversation of the Berg Parkway kind of flyway that we have been talking about, I think, for 20 years now. Yeah. And so what the county's wanting to do is take it, and they're calling it a goal exception. And so they're looking into, can we add that as a possibility to the current plan without it jeopardizing the current plan or solution with the rural reserve piece? I think, am I explaining that?
Yeah.
Got it.
So we have two options instead of just the one, because the first option is,
Less desirable.
it's less desirable. Yeah, we'll leave it at that for now, and that's just because there's other details. But it is a big part of the transportation plan for the county. They realize Canby's growth in the future, both resident-wise, economically, for this part of the county, would be really big. And as you look at the project down there, the Oregon City Legacy, the Willamette Falls Legacy Project, and that gaining a lot of momentum, and already, I think, several, $75 million, I think, has been allocated to that project from the state. That could be a big piece in terms of transportation for our city. So it was a good conversation, and we're drafting, I think, or will be drafting a letter of support that for the county to look at this goal exception and possible modification. So that'll be much more to come on that, but definitely worth mentioning. Amanda brought up the community meetings for the design of the civic building. I'll just reiterate in case you missed it the first time. March 10th, 7 o'clock at the Canby Police Department. March 11th at 7 p.m. at Hope Village. And then there will be 3 in April, which we'll tell you when we get closer. But please do come out. We do want your input and for the design and look of the building. And if you haven't noticed, we've cleared some houses and are moving right along with that. So excited about that. I attended my first MPAC meeting, and I always see MPAC is it's an acronym, and I know that Councilor Parker likes us to spell out the acronym, but Councilor Parker, you know MPAC. What is the full elongated phrase of MPAC?
Nobody really knows for sure. But it is the vehicle by which the Tri-County area divvies up state transportation funds. So it's more important than it sounds.
It is, and actually, we didn't spend any time talking about transportation. It was more about housing standards and goals. So, there you go. It is it is an interesting body. We will move into the next thing. Conversation. There's a new federal or state program helping entrepreneurs that are growing their business and looking to go to the next level. It's a grant program to get access to federal funds to grow their businesses. So there's $400,000 that are going to be available to help small entrepreneurial businesses grow. And so Renata is brought that to Renata's attention, and she's going to be working with a short list of businesses that this might be able to work for here in Canby. So we'll see what comes of that, but I think that it's a great opportunity and seems to be gaining some interest, at least here for sure. And then finally, we will be having some filming coming up here. The show International House Hunters will be in town in the next couple of weeks doing some filming of a family here that bought a piece of property, and they'll be doing some backstory and filming around Canby. So we'll have to be on the lookout for film crews and whatnot. So that is my long list of activities. We're going to start, we'll go down here tonight and start with Councilor Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
I too attended the Iwo Jima 70th anniversary commemoration at the Senior Center, and one of the things that was on display there that was terrific was a trailer where a man had carved out a wood carving of soldiers that were propping up the American flag, and I understand there was about 500 hours put to putting that together. It was all painted up, and it was just a fantastic tribute. So I also attended the annual Chamber Gala auction. It was a very enjoyable event. The Chamber does an excellent job in our community. I attended the county meeting that the mayor mentioned regarding Arndt Road. And one of the things I'm very excited to announce on the planning front, we have a candidate for one of the 2 open positions on the Planning Commission. We're very excited about. Our candidate is actually on vacation, but once she returns, we'll be scheduling an appointment for an interview and hope to have a new planning person. One of the things also very excited about was today's my mom's 90th birthday.
Oh,
so
sweet.
my wife and I got to take her to lunch, and she's just a fantastic mom. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Great. Thank you, sir. Councilor Wright.
Hello. So a couple weeks ago was the CAT board meeting. They welcomed a new board member, Liz Chapin, so that's pretty exciting. And a board member of 6 years, Brian Olson, had to resign. So they were looking for another business owner in town to fill that position because they like that perspective. They like having a variety of perspectives on their board. So hopefully they'll find an engaged business person before long. Writer of the Month was Mary Turner. March 18th is International Transit Driver Appreciation Day, and they passed out a couple buttons. So high five and hail the drivers as you see them on March 18th. Julie said that the new parking lot's coming along, and she's excited about that behind the building. And she's also writing a couple of grants now for additional funding. School board was the same day. Spotlight was on Lee School this time. There are 3 school board positions open, so those are 4-year terms. You've got to apply by March 19th, so interested people apply soon for those positions. There's a large group of teachers that presented at the last school board meeting. They were concerned about the new Smarter Balance tests, and this has been in the news quite a lot lately. There's a lot more on their website, of course, the Canby School District website, but they were concerned about the failure rate, the potential failure rate that's going to occur when those new tests are rolled out. They're replacing the old Oaks tests, so you might want to read more on the website about that, and more is forthcoming, I'm sure. Big news is Pat Johnson, the principal of Canby High School, is retiring, so there's a selection. There'll be a community group actually on March 12th, so the public is welcome to come and give input about what they want their new principal to look like. And that'll be in the Technology Center there at the high school. There's a little update by Mary Walsh of the Canby Educational Foundation. And I see that there's an invitation for all of us too for the spring fling. But this is interesting. They give out about $40,000 in grants every year. That's a lot of money for different student programs, special things like Artist in Residence, BizTown, Outdoor School, etc. So they're doing well. And this is Classified Staff Appreciation Week, right? Great, this week?
I was appreciated today.
Good. So non-certified, very good. So
I got a Frisbee.
Very good. All right. I went to the Kurt Schrader Town Hall at the Lake Oswego City Hall a couple Saturdays ago. That was pretty interesting. He talked about what's going on at in the U.S. Congress right now, and he fielded a lot of questions from local citizens from the county, and talked about some current bills and whatnot, but it was good to see him here around, in our neck of the woods. That was good. The Friends of the Library annual meeting was about a week or so ago. It was a record turnout, about 25 people, so there's a lot of new blood coming in. They just expanded their board to 9 people. Teresa Enderle and I went off the board, so that's a bit of a change for us. A little sad, but a little busier now. Rick was there. It was a good time. The Oregon Battle of the Books competition was just a couple of days ago. As you might have seen in the Canby Herald, that was pretty exciting. And we brought, a friend and I started a team at Eccles, so we were excited to bring them along, and it was a great experience for all the kids there. It was fun. City Day at the Capitol was last week. That was great. League of Oregon City puts that on every couple of years. And so it was informative, very worthwhile. I was grateful to go. About 70% of the Oregon cities were represented, so there were a lot of us. It was good attendance. The League shared their themes for this session, and they gave a briefing of the legislative session. And a recurrent concern I heard from cities was their concern about the legalization of marijuana, and they'd like local control related to marijuana practices, taxation, revenue distribution, and citing authority. And I'm sure that'll come up more later in the session, so stay tuned for that. And then I got to meet Representative Kennemer, and Olson. Senator Olson talked to them a bit. It was fun. It was a good time. I guess the last thing, I have a little community announcement, is there's a Dr. Seuss party, actually, for those with kids, young kids, at Cuts Forth on this Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. at their town hall. It's his birthday, actually, a couple days ago was Dr. Seuss's birthday. And they've been doing this for years at Cuts Forth, and it's pretty fun. They have a puppet show. And anyway, so bring your kids if they're so interested. And that is all.
Great, thank you. Council President Dale.
Mr. Mayor, I likewise attended the Iwo Jima Memorial at the Canby Adult Center. And on the Canby Utility front, they will begin interviewing their short list of candidates for general manager next Monday. So exciting times ahead for Canby Utility.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I'll be getting to have lunch with the candidates. That concludes.
Great, thank you.
Anything that surrounds food is a good thing, right?
That's food's my ticket.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I likewise attended the Iwo Jima Memorial ceremony and the Chamber Gala. The I-5 connection, the Art Road meeting. The only thing I would add to that, you had a very good report. The only thing I would add is that the letter of support that is being drafted kind of has the stipulation that the city of Canby stays in the conversations going forward. So we're not just letting the county negotiate us out of anything. So we just wanted to make sure that everyone was
for
clear
that
on that,
clarification.
that we will remain in those conversations. I likewise went to the Board of County Commissioners meeting, and I was not able to go to League of Oregon Cities City Day at the Capitol because I was in other meetings at the Capitol following some bills that I will report on later as things develop. And Chamber luncheon yesterday was State of the Chamber, and I was able to actually call the business owners about those public meetings that we're having next week in the library. So that was, I was glad to have gone there, and seems that didn't get on the agenda of announcements. So I'm glad that I was able to provide that information for the business owners because they're going to have a new neighbor, and their input's going to be wanted. Finally, the Ebner's Working Group, as Councilor Parker lovingly called us, has now got a name. We're actually planning it'll be a kickoff street dance party to Canby's Big Weekend, so we are looking at Canby's Big Night Out. And it'll be the Friday evening prior to the car show on Saturday in August. More is coming, so as it develops, I'll keep you apprised. Traffic Safety Commission is actually this Friday. And on a related but separate note, since we're talking about roads, I wanted to direct everybody to clackamascountysurvey.com because the county is wanting to hear your priorities and they'll give you an opportunity to provide feedback on what you think the funding of road maintenance priorities ought to be. So, related to traffic, but not necessarily in. Although we do have county roads within the city limits, so you might want to remind them of that if you go to that survey. Those unincorporated roads need help. So, clackamascountysurvey.com. That concludes.
Thank you. Councilor Parker.
Well, let me pick up on the liaison report to the Bicycle Committee on roads. One of the things that happens during the springtime is people get out on the roads more, especially non-hardcore cyclists. And the Bike Committee has had really good working relationship with the city's public works of getting the shoulders cleaned off with the street sweepers, because rocks, dead cats, and other debris on the side of the road does not make for safe bicycling. But I've agreed to work with with the mayor and with our city manager to get the message out to the county, because one of the main bike highways is on Knight's Bridge, and there's, if you're a cyclist, and I've done that a couple of times of heading out to Aurora on that, there's a lot of gravel. So gravel is something that we're going to be attacking on the Bike Committee, and hopefully doing some work with the county folks. Also, some exciting news. This has been like a small boy's dream for 4 years now. But the newer manager of the bike shop is going to be participating with the bicycle committee and probably becoming a member. But we have wanted to have that connection of a business person downtown involved in the commerce of bikes, and that's taking place. So we're thrilled about that. The big project that we're looking at is working with the Canby Livability Coalition on their long-term project at Territorial and Holly, of working with them to have that be not just an art park, but having it be a bicycle way station. Since again, one of the highways for bicyclists is off of the Canby Ferry and down there, and we thought it would be good to have a way station and water rest area, and discussions are taking place with the Canby Livability Coalition. On the community front, I accepted the invitation and attended the VFW breakfast, and as advertised, it was great, and I had one of the world's fastest servers, a patriotic young woman who said that the people here have served their country. I have no problem serving them. And I thought that was a wonderful spirit of volunteerism. And the breakfast was good, too. So I've been getting a couple of comments from folks thinking I can do something about the railroad traffic that seems to have gotten worse. Part of it is that the repairs have been taking place on the Union Pacific Road, which has closed it down some. And what I'd like to ask the mayor to do is to survey the council and talk with the city administrator on whether we might want to have a briefing about whether the traffic actually has been increasing. It's just my gut that with the increase in commerce around the country, and that the UP having that as their main line, that the trains are getting longer and more frequent. It just sort of makes sense. And whether there is ever a tipping point on us now saying, whether there is a tipping point at any point that says it is now viable enough for us to have an overpass. It had been kicked around about 4 years ago, taken off the agenda, but pushing this to the extreme, if there is never a time when there is not a train on that train track, then the need for that goes up to 100%. And I'm just saying, where is the tipping point at which we need to say we need to have another way to get across that train track? And finally, the work that is taking place by ODOT intermittently, episodically, on the 99 is in fact going to be a huge improvement. That they're going to take down the lines and put up poles with stop signs, and as part of what I consider to be a beautification of 99, it'll make it look better. And I'm also urging the mayor to put on the list of potential agenda items of looking at other ways that we can get the 99 beautification project back on track. And that's it.
Thank you, Councilor. And thank you for the water. Appreciate that. We'll move into the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move for approval of the consent agenda, which includes the approval of the minutes of the February 18th, 2015 City Council work session and regular meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Council President Dale and seconded by Councilor Hensley to approve the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes of the February 18th, 2015 City Council work session and regular meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Passes 5-0. Resolutions and ordinances.
And the only thing we have tonight is the second reading of ordinance 1412. This is vacationing a portion of North Juniper Street public right-of-way from the northern boundary of Northeast 2nd Avenue, 115 feet northerly, to the southerly boundary of the alley between Northeast 2nd Avenue and Northeast 3rd Avenues.
Great. So
And this
is
requires a roll call vote.
Thanks, Kim.
She's protecting you.
She does good. She keeps us out of trouble. me out of trouble. So yes, this is, as Kim, our city recorder said, our second reading. So last meeting, we had a public hearing about the vacating of this portion of Juniper. Plays a key role in the completion and the start of the civic building project. And so we will be, that first half of it, we will be vacating, and the new building will be going over that after we relocate utilities and things of that nature. And so that's the crux of this ordinance tonight, is to make sure that we can all be on board and do that. So,
Mr. Mayor, I'm prepared to make a motion.
Thank you.
That we adopt ordinance 1412, an ordinance vacating a portion of North Juniper Street, public right-of-way from the northern boundary of Northeast 2nd Avenue, 115 feet northerly, to the southerly boundary of the alley between Northeast 2nd Avenue and Northeast 3rd Avenues.
And I'd like to second that, please.
motion has been made by Councilor Hensley and seconded by Councilor Parker to approve ordinance number 1412, an ordinance vacating a portion of North Juniper Street public right-of-way from the northern boundary of Northeast 2nd Avenue, 115 feet northerly, to the southerly boundary of the alley between Northeast 2nd Avenue and Northeast 3rd Avenues. Any question or discussion?
No, we tackled it last time in detail.
So, roll call vote.
Counselor Parker?
Aye.
Counselor Hensley?
Aye.
Counselor Dale?
Aye.
Counselor Height?
Aye.
Counselor Coleman?
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Thank you very much. So we'll vacate that tomorrow, right, Amanda?
Yep.
Okay.
On it.
Just
Perfect.
go out there.
Bulldozers are ready to go. All right. There's no new business tonight. Anything on the city administrator's business or staff reports?
No, thank you.
Nothing?
I think she probably read enough for
Yeah,
this
I was gonna
meeting.
say.
Just thinking, maybe.
Second opportunity for citizen inputs? Nope, you guys are good? Bob?
Nothing.
Okay,
All
sir.
right, thank you.
Perfect. Action review.
You have approved the consent agenda and you've adopted ordinance 1412.
Perfect. Joe, do we have an exec session tonight?
We do not.
Fantastic. With that, before we take a motion to adjourn, Canby, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the great weather that we are having, and be thankful that we're not setting record snowfall like they are in Boston and New York. So I will take a motion to adjourn the evening.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
not
Motion by Tracy H. and seconded by the other Tracy H. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? None. All right. Good night, Canby. Thank you very much.